Hello, today I would like to speak to you about the concept of limitation of liability. What does it mean when we talk about the liability of members in a company being limited? Now, first things first, it's important to understand that one of the primary reasons why people incorporate, why they form companies for the purpose of conducting business, is to take advantage of the benefits of incorporation, which include the limitation of liability. Now, you know that we have private companies limited by shares. We have public companies also limited by shares. We have private companies limited by guarantee, and we have unlimited liability companies. Now, what does each of these concepts connote? Now, when we talk about the limitation of liability by shares, whether in a private company or a public company, it simply means that the liability of members in that company is limited to the amount of unpaid shares, if any, that they hold in the company. Now, when one becomes a member in the company, they acquire shares in that company. So you pay a certain amount of money and you're given the corresponding value of shares in the company. For instance, if I paid 10,000 naira to the company and each share of the company cost 1 naira, I would then now own 10,000 shares in the company. Now imagine it's 15,000 shares I intend to purchase, to acquire in the company, and I have only 10,000 naira, but the company gives me 15,000 shares anyways. And so 5,000 of those shares were given to me on credit. All right. So I have a debt I owe to the company. I have unpaid shares I hold in the company. Now, if the company runs into any financial difficulty and maybe has to be wound up and dissolved, you see that the only liability I would suffer would be to pay the 5,000 naira that I owe the company for those 5,000 shares, which I hold, which I have not paid for. All right. If I did not have any shares in the company unpaid, then I would not be obligated to make any contribution to the company at the time of its dissolution to pay off its debts. So that's what it means. The liability of the members are limited to the amount of unpaid shares, if any, they hold in the company. Now, how about when we talk about a company limited by guarantee? Now, remember that a company limited by guarantee is not set up for the purpose of conducting business, and so there is no shares and it does not have a share capital. No. So rather what you have there is that the members in that company at the time of joining the company would promise to contribute a certain sum of money to the company to help the company offset whatever debts the company has in the event of the company being wound up. And of course, Kama tells us that the aggregate sum, so the total sum that is contributed, should not be less than 100,000 naira. So you see that in a company limited by guarantee, the liability of the members is limited to the amount of money they have guaranteed that they would contribute to the company's assets. Now, finally, when we talk about an unlimited liability company, now, as the name connotes already, liability of members is unlimited. Now, that sounds very risky because already we said that the purpose of incorporation is in order to limit your liability. But in an unlimited liability company, you see that the members actually agree that if the company is indebted and the company is not able to pay its debts, then the creditors of the company can then recover whatever they are owed from the personal assets of the members. Therefore, you see that their liability is unlimited. There's no limit placed on what liability they may suffer. And that's why, of course, you won't find a lot of companies registered as unlimited companies doing business. So that is the meaning behind the concept of limitation of liability. I hope you've enjoyed learning today. and I will see you again some other time.